the finale is him leaving to follow a girl to Chicago. So I don't know if they're going to just pick up from there.
I hope it's a crossover with the bear.
He goes again to the Italian beef.
This meat's so wet.
Yeah. So, I saw that they're going to do that. They've been talking to Kelsey Grammer about it for a while.
Is Niles going to be on it, though?
I don't think they're doing that. I think it's going to be him and new people.
Probably
but it's going to be
his son, I imagine, is going to be a grown-up now. And
God, that was my favorite part of Frasier is they never had his son in the show. Here's a guy who
There's
moves,
like 4 episodes in 9 or 12 seasons.
Moves back home to Seattle.
How many seasons was it? Was it 10?
No. It was 8, I think.
Was it 8?
Yeah. And the Frasier sequel is picked up straight to series. That's when they go, we're not even going to worry about doing a test on this. They order it straight to series. At Paramount Plus, they're going to do it.
Gross. That is the least interesting pairing since chicken biscotti and Pinot Gris.
What?
11 seasons.
I've been watching a lot of Frasier.
How many seasons?
11.
11? I didn't think they were on that long.
Yeah, 93 to 2004.
Wow. It was 2018 when Kelsey Grammer started shopping it around and saying that he would really like to do it, featuring his character in a new city. And they finally set it up, and they've gone back and forth, and they said that they will put it together. It will probably be 10 episodes.
So Frasier originated on Cheers.
Yes.
He was a psychologist, right?
Who was Diane's boyfriend. Fiance, yeah.
And then how did he get into radio? Isn't he a radio guy on his show? So how did that happen?
He's a talk show psychiatrist.
Okay.
So they would
I was young when it was out.
Yeah. They would have celebrities
do the phone call.
Do the phone call voices, and then in the credits you'd see who they were.
Got it.
And then that was his.
Was it like Seinfeld, where like the basis of the call was kind of the setup for the episode, like how Seinfeld would do a joke?
It was pretty random.
Okay.
But that because she originally had a different fiance that left her behind in the first episode, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
She got with Frasier a couple seasons in.
Frasier
after her and Sam broke up.
Yeah.
I'm only like 4 seasons into Cheers. I haven't seen all of it.
And then after Frasier, she gets engaged to some British dude or something, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. But they said that the original Frasier cast members are not expected to be series regulars. They could make guest appearances. So it's going to be him surrounded by new characters, which I think is the way to go.
I think so.
Wasn't his brother like the funny one, though?
It's very funny, but their interactions together were great. But I think if they get the right writers and they get the right tone, you can put new characters in and have fun interactions.
Yes. He's still the center of the show.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, Frasier set the record for the most Emmy Awards won by a scripted series. They won 37 Emmys.
Wow. Good for them.
Grandma loves Frasier.
It is an old... I feel old when I watch Frasier because it's a 90s show. I've only recently kind of gotten back into it because like Seinfeld is not my comfort food anymore. It used to be like anytime I was going to watch something, I'd watch Seinfeld. And that's because it was pretty frictionless. Like you could turn on TBS and it was always on. You can get on Netflix now, but Cheers was a show my dad loved. And so when they spun off Frasier from Cheers, I started watching that.
I love Cheers.
And I just think Kelsey Grammer, I think he's very funny. He did a show that was on for 2 seasons called Boss that was so goddamn good, and I wish that it had continued, but I think I was one of 5 people watching it, where he played the mayor of Chicago, and he would go to any lengths it was like a hardcore dramatic show where this guy was a bad dude, and he was so good in it. So good. But I don't think anybody watched Boss, and they canceled it after 2 seasons. It was over on Stars, I think. But, Frasier. Because everybody went off to do different things. Like David Hyde Pierce does a lot of stage. Jane Leeves was in Hot in Cleveland, right? With Valerie Bertinelli and the late, great Betty White.
Jane Leeves, that was...
British. She was Daphne.
Yeah, Daphne, yeah. What's the... Roz?
Roz. Perry Gilpin is that actress.
Gilpin.
Yep. I don't know what she does now. I'm sure she's done things. She was in an ABC family show called Make It or Break It. I'm not familiar with that. And she's done a lot of voiceover work. for like Justice League cartoons and Hellboy and.
All right, before they get too far into the writing, because I know the writers of Frasier, the reimagining or what they call it,
The
revival,
reimagining.
the revival.
Yeah.
I don't think he should be on the radio anymore, and I don't think they should take him into the podcast world. I think what people that like Frasier want to see him do is become an MMA fighter.
You're probably right.
Yeah. So he'd be kind of like his character would be more in the Joe Rogan category.
Mm-hmm. But he's still Frasier, so he still has all this knowledge and class.
Right.
So he's teaching lessons of the mind and body.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
But like the special guests on the show would be like Jordan Peterson, like all these like people that got
you get the Irish guy,
the Irish guy,
the Irish fighter guy.
Conor McGregor.
Yeah, Conor.
Yeah.
Him on
so
there.
just MMA guests.
Well, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I think
does this
he's going to be
require
fighting a lot of? He's going to be doing a lot of MMA.
Does any of the comedy come from the visual aspect of the fact that he is in exactly the same shape as he always was, or is he like De Niro in Cape Fear? Is he jacked and tatted up, or does the comedy come from the fact that he's an MMA fighter, but he looks
you never
exactly
actually see him
the same?
fight. It's like one of those things where
see.
he's always just talking about training, hanging out in the gym, stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. But he's, like with the radio show, you only saw him on the radio a little bit. So like there'll be little snippets of the fights, but he'll be the one fighter that wears a T-shirt.
So that's like that'll be the new version of Maris.
Yeah.
You never saw Niles' wife, Maris.
Right.
You never see Frasier fight. It is funny, though, because it would always make me laugh. I hadn't been in radio that long when Frasier started. And it was funny to see, because I always enjoy depictions of this business in films or television. Because everyone on the radio, and probably more so in the 90s when it was still like a bigger deal than it is now, but everyone on the radio was like super wealthy.
Yeah.
Like Frasier has this amazing high-rise apartment and he's drinking expensive wines and he's going to the opera or whatever. And essentially, like in real life, he'd be a night guy on an AM station.
Right. And do they
doing
not
a doctor call-in show.
I mean, it's a big market, though. It's Seattle.
Right, but the guy wasn't like syndicated or anything. He's doing a local Seattle show in,
I think he had
1993.
I think he had prime time, though. I think he had afternoon
drive.
So he was doing,
Right.
which we know pays the big bucks.
It really does.
Right.
It's very lucrative. But since he wasn't paying for that kid and he wasn't married, he was a man about town. The clothes were very 90s,
Mm-hmm.
That
Always
Frasier
in suits. They're always wearing suits.
Yeah, that Frasier wardrobe looked like The Sopranos. It's very, very of the 90s.
I feel like they wore a lot more earth tones. I feel like that show is very earth tone, which is very 90s to
Very
have
neutral.
all those. Yeah, those a lot of browns.
Kelsey Grammer's daughter voices Summer Smith and Rick and Morty.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't watch that show.
I love that show.
A lot of people say no one would addict Kelsey Grammer is in real life. They have a hard time watching Frasier. Kelsey, anytime somebody poses one of those questions on Twitter, I always answer Kelsey Grammer. They go, who's a person that you can't help but love all their work, but they seem to be a garbage person in real life? I always say Kelsey Grammer. Because in real life, I think he's widely regarded as a garbage person. But boy, I will watch him in anything. I think he's just dynamite.
So you watched, was it McHale's Navy?
I did. I watched all of them. Yep.
That was the one, because there was Down Paris. Because
Periscope.
that was one of those movies where they're like, oh, this company's putting out a submarine movie. Well, we got to get one out.
That's right.
Hey, what's Tom Arnold doing?
Yeah. And of course, my favorite Kelsey Grammer performance includes the line, "Oh dear God."
That's pure. That's him.
When he falls off the stage, right, giving a talk.
Trip through It's a Small World, pretending I was a UN interpreter. Oh, good Lord.
Oh dear Lord.
I think I'm... Wow, that was really, really bad.
The edge of this particular stage, for people who have never seen this video, it's about a decade old, but the edge of this stage is like it's got like the edge of a key. So it has all these indentations on it. And he's talking and waxing poetic, and he falls in between.
Frasier did it first, Post Malone.
Yeah. Kelsey Grammer didn't break no ribs. He didn't cancel shows. He went back to talk about whatever he was talking about.
World pretending I was a UN interpreter. Oh, good Lord. I think I'm... Wow, that was really, really bad.
That's so embarrassing. You got to know where the front of the stage is. Oh, good Lord.
He was so used to working on the sitcom, he forgot his stage.
Stagecraft. He didn't hit his mark.
Oh.
What's another show they should bring back?
Happy Endings. It's not old, but
we gotta
damn,
talk
should
about
they
like
bring
one
that
of these
show back?
Legacy shows.
I know.
The Office.
The Office.
They could never.
No, The Office
It's not
is
that.
done.
Yeah.
You're done.
I like The Office, but there's nothing to reboot there.
Certainly.
I mean,
not
they
Queer
just
folk.
greenlit the Community movie, and I'm like, I'm still trying to get into that show.
No
boy.
one's going to go see that.
Yeah,
There's
they
not-
will. No, it's going to be on like Paramount or something.
Yeah, it's gonna be on Peacock, but there's a gigantic Community fan base that's very excited.
Yeah, they'll all watch that.
That's my friend Yvette Nicole Brown show.
Mm-hmm.
She was an Akron Zip.
She was. WZIP too.
Right.
All right, well, but like one of those, I think they should bring back Home Improvement.
I love that. Well, they kind of did. I
Well,
mean,
that was like a
except
different show.
It was
And he had
Man of the
girls.
House. Or,
Yeah, and he had
I
girls
enjoyed
and-
it. I like
No,
that.
it's
He's
fine.
like a Republican and like really outspoken, and he has like a
Last Man Standing.
Last
Yeah,
Man Standing.
yeah.
That's what it is. Super liberal daughter
What'd you
who
call
got
it? What'd you call it?
a man,
Man
of
of
the
the
house.
Man of the House.
It's like, yeah, he has like 3 daughters, and the one daughter like got pregnant when she was 16, but he's like this outspoken Republican and like all kinds of crazy stuff. It's a good show. I like Tim Allen.
No, that's what I'm saying. Bring back that, but I think you could have a lot of fun with that because he was very apolitical on Home Improvement, but he was still very like manly. So like I think you could have a lot of fun, like him interacting with his grandkids.
Yeah.
That are
Well, that's what
Gen
that show
Z.
was.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that show was.
But he's trying to teach these young grandkids how to build hot rods and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Frasier series finale, somebody points out, was the Friends series finale. They were on the same night. They weren't on the same night, but they were on the same network. This person's talking about how the Frasier finale was completely overshadowed by Friends. They were both on NBC, so they weren't going to put them on the same night. They were a week apart. But they're right. I mean, everybody was talking about the end of Friends.
Yeah.
And so a week later, they do
Because the Friends
the Frasier finale, and it was a different audience, I think.
is a different audience, but it was also a completely different show because Frasier never had the relationship drama that Friends had.
Right.
Friends was a comedy, but it really was just a drama. Like the Rachel Ross thing, will they, won't they, drove that show.
Well, and Frasier was like a play.
Yeah.
It was written like a play. And so, 2-3 sets, maybe.
Mhm.
His place, the coffee shop.
Well, I mean,
I guess that's what Friends was too. But, I mean, they were just written differently.
right.
Mad About You.
Well, Friends had so many more characters too.
Yeah.
Mad About You.
I mean, Paul Reiser is back in everything, so why not do that? He's on Reboot.
all right.
He's in Stranger Things. He's on everything now.
They should reboot Mad About You, but make it Mad About You.
Mad at You.
Yeah, like I'm mad about you.
Mad
And he's just
about you. Well, but didn't they end the series with getting divorced? Like Janine Garofalo was their grown kid.
Yeah, and
it was all in
can't-
flashback.
and he can't get over it, and so he's still mad about you.
That's when she got into football, by the way, because at the end of the run of Mad About You, she was like, well, stand up. She had taken so much time off to do some acting. She was in Truth About Cats and Dogs. There was Mystery Men and all that. But before that, she was in Mad About You. And then she started just with some friends. Somebody filmed her playing football. And they were like,
I'm
she's
mad
got
about you.
a hell of she's got a hell of an arm. And that's when the 49ers came calling. And so Janine Garofalo now has been a fantastic player for that team. But
She doesn't-
conversely, she hasn't really shown up in too many television shows. Tim Allen got arrested for weed. No, he got arrested for coke.
and they
100
ratted
years
everybody
ago.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in Kalamazoo, Michigan,
Mhm.
which, I think he was still a student at Western Michigan or something like that. Yeah, he got,
That was still when he was Tim Dick.
he was Tim Dick. And he lived up to that name by ratting out all of his friends.
Mm-hmm.
Urkel as an adult, somebody suggests.
Ooh, I like that one.
Is he
Urkel.
just full-time Stefan Urkel now?
He's Steve Urkel. He learned to love himself and
Okay.
be himself,
I'm just asking.
and he's that's what I think.
Love himself and be himself.
Yeah, because he kept trying to change himself to make Laura happy, and he's like, "Wait, that's not how you become happy.
Huh.
You know, use science to fix yourself. You be yourself, and you find someone that loves you for you.
Wasn't
but
it
it's got to
just
start with Steve.
wasn't it just a Nutty Professor ripoff?
I mean, it didn't
Oh, I
start
get.
out-
I
Yeah.
Buddy
understand.
Love.
Yeah.
They were just replicating that vibe with a teenage kid.
Was the original one Buddy Love?
No.
No, the Jerry Lewis one?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
What was
Eddie
his-
Murphy did Buddy Love.
Yeah. But what was the original?
Oh, it was
Did he
like
have a-
Larry Jewis instead of Jerry Lewis.
Larry Jewis.
That was his hot guy name.
Yeah. Nutty Professor, it was
that transformation didn't work as well because even when Jerry Lewis combed his hair and had a good suit, he wasn't particularly a good-looking guy.
Yeah.
Julius Kelp.
Kelp.
Oh, he was Buddy Love.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't realize. I thought Eddie Murphy was Buddy Love. Julius Kelp, and then he was Buddy Love. And but again, it was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I mean, that was obviously the source material for that. But
Nothing's original anymore.
well, there are original things.
Nope.
It's just when you show it to people, they go, "Eh,
I don't like that.
I don't like the dark and the wicked."
I want to see a show where
Boo.
a girl, we find out she's hot when she takes her glasses off. That's what I want to see.
That's right.
She has them on. Everybody's like, what a nerd. Then she takes them off. Everybody's like, oh, she's got huge boobs.
Pretty hot. Couldn't see her boobs behind those glasses.
It's what happens all the time.
Well, something to consider. You know, somebody, speaking of the dark and the wicked, somebody left a message for us that mentioned that while you were hung up on motive,
Mhm.
you would want to go to the scene in that film where the family tells the priest that they don't believe in God. And then it turns out that that priest is not who he says he is. And he's more of a conduit for a situation that's going to, come hell or high water, get those people to believe in God and the devil.
Boom. Motive.
Motive.
Now you like it?
Motive.
Nope.
No, it's not really.
Brian watched some Asian zombie movie last night.
One Cut of the Dead.
No, it had subtitles, and
Yeah, they
he
all do.
was laughing his ass off. What the hell is it called? I think it's like a one-word title. And I did something much scarier. I organized his daughter's playroom.
Oh, yeah.
Took me like 4.5 hours to get all these toys where they go and get rid of some stuff. And then I was sitting there looking at it, and instead of feeling a sense of accomplishment, I'm like, when I come home from Boston Sunday, this place is gonna be destroyed. Like,
Of course.
it doesn't even matter.
You were just
Like,
killing time while he
right.
was watching a movie.
What is this? Why am I even wasting my time trying to do this? There's no point, but it's clean and there's a lot more space to play now.
No, that's good. I stayed up late last night because I started watching. Even if there aren't movies that you like on Shudder, they have a great bunch of like horror film documentaries, and they have a series called "The 101 Scariest Horror Movie Moments of All Time." And it's like 5 or 6 episodes. They drop a new one every Wednesday, new ones tonight. And they go through these movies and they talk to people who helped make them. They talk to actors and directors and things, and they have like scenes from all these movies from the 70s and the 50s and the new ones, and it's awesome. So you don't have to watch the whole movie.
Yeah, you just
They
see
just
the
show
good parts.
you. Yeah. Some of them you've seen, some of them you haven't.
That's why I love the movies that made us.
That's great too.
Fun. And they did some scary movies. They did
Alien.
Alien, and I think they did Aliens. I don't know if they did Alien. But they did Nightmare Before Elm.
The Nightmare Before Elm Street.
Nightmare Before Elm Street. What's this?
There's razors in my fist. I've got to take a break. If you want to get a text, you want to get the last word in, shoot me a 35192. You get a text there. And Cavs basketball tonight. Your pregame starts at 6:30. Tip-off in Philly against the Sixers at 7 tonight.
It's the Alan Cox Show.
On our free iHeartRadio app and